The worst thing that can happen to a new immigrant in Canada is to get scammed while looking for accommodation. Hi guys, thank you for clicking to watch this video. My name is Mariam. I live in Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada. I make videos about studying in Canada, lifestyle videos, parenting videos. I live in Canada with my family as an international student, so I just churn out content about studying Canada and all that. To my returning subscribers, how are you guys doing? I hope everybody's keeping safe and well. And if you live in Canada, I hope you're keeping warm. It's been a very cold week. This video should have actually gone up yesterday, Sunday, but I couldn't bring myself to record the video during the week. It's been a very intense and stressful week, nursing colds and fevers. The boys have been ill. The winter is really taking a toll on us. It's our first winter and we are feeling it. But thankfully, the cold in New Brunswick is not as severe as what's happening in Alberta and Saskatchewan. So yes. Anyway, so this is me trying to be consistent this year and just put up a video at least once a week. Okay? Yeah. In today's video, I'm going to talk about practical ways for you to find accommodation in Canada, especially if you're coming to Moncton. I'm going to use Moncton as a case study because, did I just say case study? Sounds like I'm doing a classroom presentation. Anyway, so I'm going to give you like the steps and what I did for us to find accommodation before landing in Canada. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've not subscribed, please do well to subscribe to this channel. It's a lot of work to do YouTube. I didn't realize. So do well to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment down below just so that YouTube can pick up this video and show it to more people. Okay, so let's get right into the video. So after you've gotten your visa and maybe also bought your flight tickets to come to Canada, the first and the most important thing on your mind as an international student or a PR or an immigrant is, where am I going to keep my head when I land in Canada? Where will I stay? What's the next step? How do I begin to look for accommodation while in my home country? In this case, for instance, in Nigeria, that's like the biggest thing on most immigrants' mind, to search for accommodation. So the first thing you want to do, first of all, you want to see if you can find like friends or even acquaintances, former colleagues in the city you're going to that are willing to help. How do you find these people? You can check on Facebook, you can check on LinkedIn. Just enter. Maybe some of your connections on LinkedIn might have relocated and some people might actually be in this city, but if you don't search, you might not find. So you can actually utilize relationships, people that you know, to like ask questions. Can you help me find an accommodation in this city? I'm coming into this city. This is the time I'm arriving. There's the type of house I'm trying to get. So yeah, so utilize relationships. So some people are lucky that the first few weeks when they land, they have family members or friends that agree to accommodate them for the first few weeks. You can also utilize that. If somebody is offering you help, yes, you can. And then of course, when you land, you try to look for accommodation as soon as possible. Don't just come and relax and just, because it takes a lot of it takes someone who really cares about you to offer you the accommodation and their space, you know, their privacy. They just to offer you their space to stay in. So if somebody is saying, okay, yeah, when you come in, you can stay in my place for 1 week, don't say no. It will actually help you. The soft landing is very important. So yes, utilize your relationships. For me, what I did, because when we were landing, I first went to Facebook Marketplace. But when you're in Nigeria, you will not be able to access Facebook Marketplace in Canada. So the practical thing I did was to change my location to Moncton while I was in Nigeria. But if you don't want your village people to know that you want to japa, there's a way you can change your Facebook location on your profile and don't make it visible to other people. It's only visible to you and Facebook, right? So that's what I did. So when I did that, Facebook automatically started showing me groups in Moncton that I could join. They just kept suggesting groups. You could join this group in Moncton. And then that's how I joined a group for rent. People that are looking for houses, people who want to move into Moncton, even from out within Canada, that are actually doing like internal relocation. Yeah, so I joined some of those groups and some apartment groups, apartments in Moncton, apartments in Dieppe. There are different groups like that. So Facebook suggested those groups to me, and then I joined. So that's how we found our apartment, through Facebook and Facebook Marketplace. So we found our apartment advertised on Facebook Marketplace and on one of the groups. So the same real estate company advertised on several platforms on Facebook. The advertising the house. Our house was new. If you've not watched my empty apartment video, I'm going to put it up here or here. Just click on it. You're going to find the video and watch it. So it was a brand new apartment. When we signed the lease, the house was, they were just doing the finishing of the house. We signed the lease, and then 2 or 3 months later, before we landed, we paid our first month rent and the deposit. So that's how we found our house. And then it was just favor, like, we were not scammed. It was real. Another thing, like I said before, you leverage your relationship. So we were looking for someone to at least help us see that this property actually exists. You need to be careful so that you don't get scammed. What we did was a bit of a risk, I think, because people get scammed just paying money from Nigeria to a company in Canada that maybe you've not seen to them, of course, just by talking to them via email. We exchange lots of emails. We're just sending emails back and forth. And so yeah, so the next thing we did was we had to just go, actually on LinkedIn, we now found someone that we know that lived here, and that's how we contacted the person and said, can you help us check this property? We're trying to sign a lease and we're going to have to make payment before we land. Can you check that this property actually exists, and just put a face to this company and all that? That's how the person helped us, and we now move forward. We're now we confirmed that the house was legit and the people were legit. We're not going to be scammed, right? So that's another thing you want to do. Yeah, so that was the first thing. We got our house from Facebook. Like, when people ask me, how did you get your house, a brand new house? I'm like, it's from Facebook. It's just favor. Like I said, always pray. On this journey, you need to pray at every point in time. I remember praying to God and saying, God, I need favor in this land, from looking for a house, from landing. Every step of the way, we wanted to hold our hands. If something is not right, let it not work out. And God just showed up. So yeah, so we contacted the property. When we found the house on Facebook, there was an email. I'm not sure we're able to send messages on Facebook. I think you can send a message on the DM from Facebook because you're not in the country. But most of them put their emails and phone numbers on their property listings on Facebook. So I copied the email, I contacted, okay, I actually commented on the post. I'm like, okay, how do I contact you? And then the agent or the property manager shared his email and phone number to me, and then we started sending emails back and forth. I told him I'm coming as an international student. I have 2 kids. I told them the ages of my boys at that time, because that is very important when you're looking for a house. I actually didn't want to stay upstairs. I wanted to stay on the ground floor because of the stomping. You know how kids just play and they're stomping, so that I won't have neighbors coming to knock on my door every time. So I just told them the ages of my children. I'm an international student coming to the Crandall University. So this time I'm interested in this property. And he responded. They're very responsive. Like, when I sent an email, and in less than 2 hours, the property manager had responded. I told them I'm in Nigeria, and I'm just trying to get accommodation before I arrive. And he responded. He said, okay, this is the cost of the property. It covers this, and this, covers what is covered, covers internet, power, and all that. And then he said he was going to check through all the leases he has signed and see how many more units were left. Because for the ages of my kids, we have to be on the ground floor automatically. So he said he was going to check that and then get back to me the next day. The next day he did, and he already assigned us a unit. I'm like, this guy is fast. He's not even joking. The guy was a good manager. Like, that, it looked like that guy was brought up in Lagos. He didn't waste time. Like, he was just moving quickly. Like, the next day he responded like, this is your unit number. I'm going to send you the lease documents for you to sign. Everything was moving so fast. I'm like, okay. this is actually happening. And they told us when they were planning to finish the building, to finish the fittings, installing all the appliances and all that. And then so he sent us the document. It was a lot of pages of document to fill. And you know how God just God's favor worked. He didn't even stress us about, you know how I hear that they said in now some I hear that in some provinces, like the bigger cities, like for instance Ontario, landlords are asking new immigrants to pay 6 months upfront to rent. How are you going to do that? This man just asked for the deposit and security deposit and the first. That's how we got our apartment. It was just God's grace and trying to, and then we did our own research, like I mentioned, got a friend to help us look at it. So always try to ensure that somebody actually sees the apartment. We had like an online tour of the house, a 360 tour of the apartment from Nigeria. There were videos from us. Okay, you move from this room to this room. They just have like a 360 tour of the house, but somebody actually came and looked at the house for us physically. So I don't get scammed. Some deals might look too good to be true, but always have somebody go and speak to these people if you're not there. The amount of accommodation scams are really increasing. It's not only in Nigeria that the scammers are everywhere. Bad people are everywhere. So just be careful with your money. Be careful with your money when looking for accommodation from outside Nigeria. Another platform you can utilize is your university's social media groups. I followed my university on Instagram. I went on Facebook. I was trying to find the group for the students who were arriving at the same time as me, who had admission at that time in May last year. I found a group. Well, it was a group made by Indian students, for students coming from India. But I joined the WhatsApp group, but they were mostly Indians, right? And sometimes they'll just speak their language and type in their language. But there was one Nigerian. I said, when I'm telling you people to pray, it's not because you just have to tell God to order your steps. So that's how I entered this group, and I found one Nigerian woman. Like she was just so gracious. She was so supportive. I found her and I messaged her, introduced myself. These kind of people that you call big sis, they're like big sisters. They're not even my mates, you know. I just sent her a message and I just introduced myself. I'm a new student. I'm arriving at this time. And she said she was arriving earlier before me, but she now sent me Telegram groups that I could join for the university. So from there, I started already building like relationships with other students that were arriving at my time, you know. So in fact, myself and 5 or 6 other families got apartments in the same apartment building where I live. So that's why it's important that before you leave Nigeria, you can actually go online, start searching for your university's group, maybe a Telegram group or WhatsApp group. You'll definitely find something that would lead you to that will be of help. You'll definitely find something that will be of help. Try to find your university's group, and also speak to your university's admission office. Most of those international offices actually have like information websites that you can check, of real estate companies that you can check before you arrive, that might have properties. Some real estate companies have several properties that they manage in the city, so you can check them before you come. Just go to Google, search for rental properties. For instance, rental properties in Moncton, rental organizations in Moncton. There are several of them. Email them when you're planning to come to Canada. Be ready to email. They do a lot of email communication. Even like email communication is not a big deal, unlike Nigeria where you're used to WhatsApp and text messages and phone calls, but here they do a lot of email communication. So you see a lot of property companies. In fact, I actually got like 2 offers before we landed, so I chose this one. The other one was telling me to pay money to do like a security clearance, and then they said the house was on the 5th floor. I actually didn't want to stay on the 5th floor, so I let that one go. We actually got 2 offers for property, so it's doable. It's doable. If you're willing to put in the work, you can actually find accommodation before landing in Canada. I hope this video has been helpful. Have you clicked the subscribe button yet? Have you liked the video? Please leave a comment down below. Did you find accommodation before coming to Canada, or are you still searching? How has the search been? I'd like to read from you. You can also consider staying in an Airbnb. You can just go to the airbnb.ca website and find an Airbnb in your location, in the city that you're landing. Then just book for me for 1 week, and then when you're here, you look for accommodation as much as possible. And you see several options. You can, since you're on ground, it might be easier for you to get. Not everybody might be able to get accommodation before landing, so I don't think you should beat yourself up if it doesn't happen. So just get an Airbnb. We landed in an Airbnb. Although we got accommodation before landing, we just wanted to sleep in a warm, cozy house and bed, because the cold that slapped our faces when we landed at 12 midnight, we hadn't bought anything into the new apartment. We didn't want to come and lay on the ground with kids on that cold weather and everything. So we stayed in an Airbnb for 2 days, and then got some mattresses, beds, and everything before we moved in. So you can stay in an Airbnb as well. So yes, I've talked about Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups, changing your location to the city that you're going to, so that you can see listings in your city on Facebook. Search on Google for property managing companies or rental companies in the city you're going to, and email them and reach out to them. You can call them on WhatsApp or something. Reach out to your universities groups, Universities Welcome International Center, your admission officer. Ask them questions, they will guide you. Reach out to other schoolmates on Telegram or WhatsApp, LinkedIn, and find people that are coming to your school around the same time that you're coming, just to make that connection. Just network generally. And lastly, if you don't find accommodation, just stay in an Airbnb for a few days before you find your way around. Yes, I hope this video has been helpful. I hope that landing in Canada is smooth, and you find good accommodation, and you don't get scammed as well. And always remember to pray. I always say this at the end of my video, because I'm speaking from experience. Prayer is key. You need to pray. You need to pray. Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you in another video. If you have watched up to this point, I think you should like this video. Share this video to other people that will find it useful and informative. Stay warm. Like, subscribe, and share this video.